3.24 is finally out to the P2 for Evocati, which means that I can test it and let you guys know how much it's going to change the game. And oh boy, let me tell you, it is going to be a huge change for everybody because of the inventory changes, and that's what I wanted to talk about in this video. Now I'm going to make a dedicated video for the whole of 3.24 and all of the changes and show you guys some visuals for it, but at the moment, seeing as how it's still in Evocati and still in the aid, I can't show you any new footage of it, but I will describe for you what's going on with this new inventory system and why I think it might need some rethinking. But if you guys have tried it out for yourself, I also invite you to join the conversation down below in the comment section and let me know what you're thinking about this. And by the way, if by the end you think you like this video and I deserve it, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button to show your support. Let's dive into this then. Now, to describe it quickly, what this new inventory system is, we've seen a little bit of a sneak peek on it on ISC. I'll go to that footage now here on the screen. You'll see here that this new cargo screen is actually the same type of inventory screen we're going to have for the kiosks that are going to be scattered around all the landing zones, including our own habs and the new hangars. This device is how we now interact with our local inventories. Now, to refresh your memory how the current system works, you just hit I anywhere within a landing zone or location's inventory range, and a paper doll menu pops up where you see your character in the center, your inventory for your character on the left, and then the local inventory on the right, and then you can drag and drop. This is again called a paper doll inventory. It's a very basic and standard type of inventory system that a lot of different games use. If you've played, say for example, Escape from Tarkov or any other MMO, you may have seen something really similar. You drag and drop or use a hotkey and it's quick, straightforward, easy to use, and if you've not played the game before, you can probably figure it out pretty easily. This new system though is very different. So now instead of going and hitting I somewhere, you won't see anything when you open your local inventory. You actually have to go to a kiosk and they start again in your hab or your hangar or anywhere scattered around a landing zone. You go up to it and interact with it and open a new UI system. In here you'll see the local inventory on the right and the drawer on the left. The drawer is actually how you're accessing things now in the inventory system. So after accessing your inventory, you drag and drop what you want to the drawer, hit extract, the drawer opens, and then you have the standard paper doll thing open up where you can drag and drop onto your character. So it sort of still exists, but there's a lot of extra steps now to get to it. Now I have a couple problems with this. The first is that it's introducing a lot of friction to the inventory system that I'm not entirely sure needs to be there. I am all for making everything physicalized and making the experience of Star Citizen more immersive as more technologies come online, but I have to wonder whether or not you should do something just because you can. The paper doll system, although not perfect in Star Citizen up until now, has been a pretty useful system when it doesn't lag or glitch out. Even without a search feature, dragging and dropping onto your character is really simple and easy to use, especially when you just want to mix and match different types of things for different mission sets and figure out what you want to bring out. Now with all these extra steps, figuring out what you want to wear and switching back and forth takes a lot more, let's say, intention. You have to exactly know what you want to get and go through this clunky UI system to figure out where it is, drag it onto your drawer, and to take it out. This is going to add a lot more time and frustration to an experience that I don't necessarily needs to be this complex. Personally, if it were up to me, I think that going back to the paper doll system and iterating on it would be a better way of doing it. I understand that CIG are trying to make an immersive first-person experience, and they're trying to bring as much immersive technology into the game as possible. But at some point, I think that just because you can do something doesn't mean you should do it, and if a system works the way it is, there's no need to try to reinvent the wheel and make something else just because you've got this new tech. Now, I think having the kiosks be your access point for your inventory can still be a thing, and I actually really like the cargo aspect to the inventory system because it adds a whole nother layer of loading your ship. This is a gameplay mechanic that I really like and I think adds to the game, but I'm not convinced that this system adds anything to the personal inventory system other than extra time, which is already a big problem with Star Citizen. Much of the time playing the game is just prepping to get to where you want to go, spending anywhere between 20 minutes to an hour just prepping to leave and actually start doing gameplay. Now, for some people, that's a fun experience, but personally, I don't find that the most fun part of Star Citizen. The most fun part of Star Citizen for me is getting into a ship with some friends and going doing combat or space combat, ground combat, deliveries, or whatever. Just getting out into the world and doing stuff, not sorting through my inventory and playing Tetris. That is more of a side activity that should occasionally happen, but be a frictionless experience, or at least have the least amount of friction possible. So I think what could happen, or what probably should happen if it were up to me, is that they go back to a paper doll system that's accessed by clicking on one of these inventory screens that you find around that they already built. And I think that would just be a better way to do it. Now, if you were going to come back and say that they want to make this an immersive experience, I would point out that they have already delivered a brand new character creation screen, which is also a paper doll system, and this is the exact system that we're going to see in a released version of Squadron 42. So this is a finished, released product feature that we're going to have in Star Citizen and Squadron. So if we're going to have a paper doll system there, why can't we have one for the inventory system? And I know there's also the aspect of getting this physicalized at our HABs and making HABs more permanent, but I'm not also convinced that the physicalized HABs are going to do anything to make this experience any easier than it is right now. For example, the boxes that contain our armor right now are all universally the same. You can't tell what it is until you click on it. So I don't see that as being faster, more efficient, or even that much more enjoyable. What I'd like, again, to see is for them to go back and rethink the way that this works, but that's just my opinion, man. So if you guys have the same experience as I, having played Evocati right now, please let me know down below. What are your thoughts on this new system? Do you agree with my issues with it? Do you think it could be improved in some way? Or do you like it exactly the way it is? Do you think it's way better than what we had before? I want to know. I mean, honestly, everybody's opinion, I think, is important here. This game is still in development, and CIG are listening to feedback. If they don't think a system works, chances are they'll roll it back. The only thing is, I'm a bit concerned that this one is kind of a big feature that they've been working on for a long time that's taken a lot of man hours that might not actually work the way they thought it would. So let's see what happens. If anybody at CIG has any thoughts on this, about how this can be evolved in the future, what the plans are, maybe this is not the final iteration of the way this is supposed to work, and they have a different idea how to make it smoother and less friction, please let me know, because I'm a bit concerned. Anyway, guys, I've been Morphologist. I hope to see you guys in the next one. Again, look forward to that 3.24 video, which I will be putting together in the coming weeks as soon as we can actually show you guys footage of said new content. That's it for now. See you in the next one.